Welcome back to Chow Time Pods. Your host, Red. I got videos today from Alexander Grace.
There's this couple on TikTok, and recently the man went on a bit of a rant.
24/7, whether 24/7. I don't go out. I don't drink. I don't smoke. I don't do drugs. I don't spend money. I don't buy myself nice shit. I don't do nothing. I do everything because you're fucking spoiled. Because you're fucking spoiled. I'm the provider. I'm the book planner. I'm the events guy. I'm the fucking, we're staying at a 5-star, I don't know what the fuck this is.
That's a perfect
spoiled.
husband.
I've only said no to her. How many times? I'm not even going to say it. How many times?
2 times.
2 times. Out of all the bullshit she asked, 2 times I've said no.
You set this up. You set this dynamic up, brother. That's the problem. You have to do the right thing in the beginning, because what you do in the beginning sets precedence for the rest of your damn relationship.
I don't spend shit on nothing, and all my money goes to her, this thing, and
she just laughs. Well, again, she just smiles. Like, these women have no clue. They think it's funny. They think men just have to do this. They are so clueless.
That's it.
So let's have a quick read of the comments section to see how women responded to this. Why is your wallet so loud? Why is your ATM talking back? Me trying to figure out what the problem is. All of those have over 10,000 likes. I want you to remember these comments for later on. But right now, I want to focus on this section.
I've only said no to her. How many times? I'm not even going to say it. How many times?
2 times.
2 times. Out of all the bullshit she asked,
that's your fault.
2 times I've said no.
He's only said no to her 2 times. Now that's interesting. Haven't feminists spent decades telling us that the word no is the most important word in the entire English language? It's the very foundation of consent. Your power comes from your ability to say no. So if he has only said no to her twice in their entire relationship, does that mean that he has no power? Is she violating his consent? Now, according to the women in the comments section, there's no problem here. Bare minimum. Why is your employee speaking to you like that? She's not spoiled. This is love. Have you noticed what all of these comments have in common? They treat his no as illegitimate. It's meaningless. It's something that they're free to disregard. He's not a human being with legitimate boundaries. He's just a malfunctioning ATM who has forgotten his place. I'm going to talk more about this dehumanization in part 2, but for now, it's enough to understand that from the perspective of these women, a wallet does not have feelings.
Correct.
An employee doesn't get to set the terms. It's her desire.
That's why we can't share our feelings. That's why you can't have emotions, because we're just mindless ATMs.
That are important, and his no is meaningless.
You promised me at my birthday you are going to give me the Chanel bag.
Okay, but that's when we were together, love. Like, you broke up with me?
Yeah, but a promise is a promise.
Okay, so what do you want?
I came here to get my handbag.
Your handbag? We broke up 6 months ago.
Doesn't matter. We break up 6 months ago. You told me in my birthday you are going to give me the handbag.
Yeah, when we were together. We're not together anymore, so it doesn't matter. Like, we're not together anymore, so why? Yeah, like, I don't understand why you're here.
If we are together or not together, that doesn't matter, but you make a promise.
Whatever happened to no means no. I thought that women believed that consent was sacred. Are men allowed to have boundaries? Are men allowed to say no to women? Let's find out. I asked Claude to list the 10 most likely favors that a woman is going to ask of a man. And the list is what you'd expect. It's money, it's protection, it's physical labor. But then I asked, how many of these favors are men allowed to say no to without incurring significant social judgment? It determined that 3 of them were safe for a man to decline, things like not giving her financial advice, but for the remaining 7, there would be a moderate to high social cost for a man to say no to the woman. And look at the language, it's very revealing. If he refuses to give money, he is a failure. If he declines to help with physical tasks, he is derided as incompetent or lazy. If he doesn't want to risk his own safety for hers, he is weak and pathetic. Seeing it all laid out like this, it stings because it violates the very principle that women themselves have been championing. That consent is everything. But this hypocrisy gets so much darker the deeper you examine it. There's a lot of
It's already dark right now.
layers to this, and it's brutal. I'm going to show you what I mean.
Men, at some point, are rapists. Coercion is rape. Every single man has done this to at least one woman in his life that you sit there and go, oh, please come on. And she's like, no.
By convincing them or that you want to sleep together, that's me coercing them and abusing them somehow.
Oh, not tonight. No, not tonight. I'm tired. I have a headache, you know. I don't want to. And you continue to coerce her until she says okay, and then just rolls over and lets you do it. That is considered rape.
Wow. Okay. That's the standard. Asking over and over and over again is a form of coercion, and that violates consent. So just extending on that principle, trying to logically apply this across the board. If you turn up at your ex-boyfriend's door demanding a 3,000-pound handbag when he has repeatedly said no, continuing to ask over and over again, is this coercion? Is this violating his consent? Yes, he did promise to buy her a handbag back when they were dating, but isn't it a hallmark of consent ideology that you are free to withdraw your consent at any point? Imagine the uproar there would be if a woman promised to sleep with a man and then circumstances changed and then he...
It's just sad. The more I do content, the longer I'm in YouTube doing this stuff, the more I see the hypocrisy, the more... It's like I hate women. The more I dislike women, right? As a whole. I still love individual women. There's plenty of women in my life I love, right? But as a whole, you see women act this way and go about their life this way, and just a pure double standards of everything. And just as a logical person, as logical men out there, yeah, we just don't want to deal with this.
He turned up wanting physical intimacy, trying to hold her to that promise. People would lose their minds. We hold a woman's no as sacred, so much so that a man asking repeatedly or even expressing disappointment at being told no, that is considered a form of coercion.
What was he doing specifically that was coercive?
He would ask, I'd say no. He would sometimes he would get mopey, sometimes he would like mopey to try to make me feel bad, and then he'd be like, can we have sex? And then I'm like, are you gonna keep whining if I say no? More often than not, it was non-consensual. There were very few times where I was genuinely wanted to have sex with him.
Did you ever give him a non-consensual BJ?
No, I never gave him one willingly. There you go.
Wait, but so you did give him a BJ?
Yeah, because he asked me to, and I didn't do it willingly.
So he physically grabbed your head and forced you to do it?
Not physically grab. He'd be like, can you give me head? I'm like, and he'd be like, please, pretty, please give me head.
And then you consented to doing it?
Coercion isn't consent.
But he didn't, you're saying he never physically forced you?
Well, do you agree that coercion is a form of
it would depend what you mean by coercion.
He would keep asking, and even after I established that I didn't want to, and then it would get to a point where I was just so uncomfortable, I did it to just to get him to shut up, basically, or to get it to be over with. I never willingly wanted to.
I want this to be absolutely clear what the principle being espoused here is. Having an emotional reaction to being told no or asking repeatedly, that means that whatever consent you obtain afterwards is illegitimate. It was coerced. Your consent was violated. I genuinely don't think many men realize this.
You know what?
Because remember how I told you,
if this is how women are seeing it, yes, I don't think very many of us men understand this particular line of thinking that much at all. And I think we must study this a little bit more to protect our own selves. Yeah, if a woman just says no now, walk away. No need to convince. Because convincing is now coercion. Or I don't even know how to say the word right.
Definition, I have been essayed.
Yeah, a lot of us have. If the definition is just a woman who repeatedly asks or gets mopey when you say no, then most men have been coerced. Most men have had their consent violated. But it doesn't occur to men. They don't think like that. And the reason...
Yeah, women, please. They do stuff like that all the time. We just see as them being babies, and that's about it.
is because it happens to them so often. Think back to the reactions that women have if a man ever says no to doing her a favor. Men experience this as an everyday occurrence. Begging, pleading, shaming. Women repeatedly asking, not taking no for an answer. And if she still doesn't get her way, being viciously critical of him. No wonder this guy has only said no to his girlfriend twice ever. And think about this. If a man does ask his wife to sleep with him and she says no, he might genuinely be disappointed. That's a sincere expression of his emotions, and he might share them with her. Maybe his wife is one of those women who keeps telling him that she wants to see more emotion from him. She wants him to open up and to share with her. But these women have already told us that a man's emotional expression, like being disappointed at being sexual rejection, is a form of coercion. You're not going to be judged based on his intention. You're going to be judged based on the impact that you have on her, because she feels
how you make me feel
bad, or because she just wants it to be over and done with. That makes his emotional expression a form of coercion. It means her consent was violated. I'm going to explain more about that particular contradiction in part 2, but right now it's enough to know that this is a one-way street. If a woman says no to a man and he shows emotions, he is manipulative, pushy, aggressive, and violating her consent. But for some reason, if a woman asks a man for something and he says no, she's allowed to have a complete meltdown. And that is completely fine. If you don't think that there's a double standard here, let me show you something. I asked Claude the same question as before, but this time with the genders reversed. Here are the 10 favors that men are most likely to ask a woman for. There's physical intimacy, of course. There's also emotional labor, domestic help, social cover, reputation repair. But the interesting part is when I asked the question, how many of these favors could a woman turn down with minimal social consequences? You remember when we did this with men, they were only allowed to turn down 3 favors. The rest had massive social costs for a man saying no. But when women say no to men, all 10 of them can be declined without any judgment. Women are completely free to say no. It actually explicitly says for several of them, saying no, actively declining to do a favor for a man, is celebrated. It's encouraged. It's an expression of empowerment. And then after doing this list, Claude said, completely unprompted, the core asymmetry. Women declining men's requests equals boundaries. Men declining women's requests equals failure, selfishness, or inadequacy. The social permission structure is not symmetrical. That's not an opinion. It's observable in how each refusal is labeled by the surrounding culture. And you think, how does this make sense? How are women okay with this? This is such an obvious double standard. How can they stomach their hypocrisy? Don't they believe in consent?
No, as long as it benefits them. It's always, if it benefits women, women can stomach anything.
Don't they believe in equality? Well, they do, but there's a different belief that exists higher up in the hierarchy.
The man that I'm with needs to be financially stable, not just enough to take care of himself, but me completely, because I do not believe in 50-50. Let's read my shirt together, because I know you guys are a little slow. Women don't owe you being men, shit. I don't owe you time, energy, and coochie. I don't owe you attention. Okay? Okay.
Okay, I want you to pause for a moment and really understand the implications. Understand where you exist and how the culture views you. You live in a society where consent is sacred, so much so that asking twice or expressing sadness at being told no technically violates consent. That's coercion. But at the same time, if you say no to a woman, it doesn't register. She can beg, she can shame, she can emotionally blackmail you, and at no point will society consider her behavior to be a violation of your boundaries. Think about what that implies about the value of your life compared to a woman's. Let's recap. We've established that consent is sacred, but only for women, that men face enormous social penalties for saying no to women, and that men's emotional responses are going to be weaponized against them. From this, it leads to 3 inescapable conclusions. Number 1, women are seen as human beings with inviolable rights. Men are not. Number 2, women are actively trying to create a society where men cannot say no to them. And number 3, pointing out that contradiction won't make any difference. That one needs some explaining, because once you understand it, you'll see that women aren't trying to be consistent. They're trying to win. And part of the strategy is to rub the contradiction in your face. That's the point. They're doing it on purpose. All 3 of those conclusions are covered in part 2 of this video.
Yeah, if you like the man's content and you want to see part 2, or like the more in-depth conversation on the other side of things, yeah, go to his Patreon. He actually has a free trial going on, 7-day free trial. Go check out his Patreon. Again, I don't like promoting other people's Patreons or other people's products and stuff, but $5 for this man's advice and just watching the videos that he covers, I think it's very worth that value of $5. Please like, subscribe, comment down below. I really appreciate that, and catch you guys next time.